And we're live.
And we're live, and I'm barely in screen.
Just get on it. Right. I got plenty of arm space over
There we go. Even better.
It's closer.
Happy Chrysler, and have a good new year.
Honda days.
In 2 days, it'll be the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll go close the door, I guess.
Smooth moves. We got a bunch of amazing topics today. Ranging from... It's not just gamers...
With a Z.
Who are upset about the Cyberpunk 2077 issues. I couldn't imagine who else would be upset about that. Definitely nobody that has money in it, I'm sure.
I'm sure they're totally fine with being misled.
Everyone loves a misled relationship. We got a poll in here from Droid Life about auto-rotate, on or off. Off. If you wanted to rotate, you would tell it to rotate. 10 biggest app news from 2020, according to Android Authority. These were pretty much obvious, actually. Not really any shocking news after experiencing it.
$10 says Zoom's on there.
In the top 3, or just in the list? Do you think Zoom was one of the 3 biggest things to happen in 2020?
Yeah.
You said $10?
No.
We got a smartphone manufacturer trends that need to stop.
Yep, we got the new year. Hopefully they can make a resolution to not do these things.
The biggest one I would want to stop. I'll think on it when we get to the topic.
Charging money for phones? No,
Yeah, right? I want a subscription-based phone.
Don't say that.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna happen.
We got a link in here for all the terrible pilots out there, which we're part of.
Yep.
It's hysterical, really. That's where we're gonna do the sponsors, I guess.
Okay.
The first real Apple Watch. Just guess what it looks like. It's hysterical. And then we have how to repurpose your old NVMe drives. I saw this article on a Facebook sponsored post, so here's it included, not sponsored.
Yeah. Starting off at the top with an article from Bleeding Cool.
It's a cool website to use.
Which I hadn't heard of before.
Never have.
But they have their sources in this article, so that's nice. This is related to the Cyberpunk 2077 game that just came out and all the bugs that the game has. So we've talked about, either last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the game coming out and there were a lot of bugs in it. And gamers were upset, and I think Sony took it off of their store, and people could get refunds easily if they didn't like the game.
Yeah, and a lot of people didn't like it.
And a lot of people didn't like the game and got refunds. And so, obviously, people refunding the game hurts the game design company's profit and their bottom line and their finances. And so this article is about some investors, one specific investor, which I can't pull up his name right now, but one specific investor is trying to kind of start a class action lawsuit because the game design company CD Projekt Red misled its investors about how the development for the game was going, and it turned out there were so many bugs in the game and all these refunds, which are not good. So they also included a link to the article from this, or they included a link to the lawsuit.
Here's the lawsuit here.
Yeah.
Fun fact, laser mice do not work on reflective white sheets of board.
So the plaintiff, which is the guy filing the lawsuit, is Andrew Schramp. And then he's also trying to get other people involved so that anyone affected by this can also get some money back. And if you scroll down to like page 5, I think it is, it talks about the allegations. It says, this is quoting from the lawsuit. For several years, the company has been devoting substantially all its resources to the development of Cyberpunk 2077, which the company described as a open-world, narrative-driven role-playing game. The game was to be released on various platforms, including Sony's PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Xbox X and Xbox next-generation consoles, etc., etc., etc. And then it goes on to the materially false and misleading statements. And it quotes some specific statements made by the game design company in either public statements or board meetings or conference calls for the investors. Let's see. And basically they're talking about, we're getting ready, the game design company on these conference calls or whatever is saying, we're getting ready to release the game, we're working on bugs,
Right.
There's not that many bugs.
Which,
Just saying that everything is good. So more people are investing money in it. They think that they're going to make a profit when the game succeeds. But as it turns out, the game has a lot of issues.
right. And so one quick Google search I did while you were looking that up was the game CD Projekt Red has released already.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the Witcher series, which Cyberpunk 2077 sounds pretty much like the Witcher series, but, 500 years in advance, I guess. But aside from the Witcher series, what really caught my eye was one of their older games was Music Master Chopin? I don't know.
Okay.
Chopin.
Mm-hmm.
Chopin. A ripoff of Guitar Hero.
Gotcha. So the game design companies
Started with a ripoff game.
which, for people designing their first game or, a team working on a game for like a school project or something or whatever is fine, or even if it's free it might be fine, but if you're charging money that's kind of shady for sure.
Yeah, but when you come from a game series like the Witcher series where it was the super open world with huge dialogues, you would expect that their next game would follow the trend.
Yeah.
Like the common joke, Assassin's Creed, if you play one you've played them all, because it's the
Pretty
same
much the
game
same
with a
game.
new skin on it.
Different theme, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Assassins and pirate ships or
Yep.
Spartan days or whatever. Yeah.
And so that's probably what most people are expecting. That's honestly kind of what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I thought Project Red was the Red Dead Redemption. That's
See why I would make that
Rockstar.
connection. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, that's what I was expecting with Cyberpunk. It was just going to be Red Dead Redemption styled.
Okay.
But that's pretty much the Witcher 3 style.
Yeah. And this lawsuit also includes like direct quotes from the people in conference calls. So this is from November 25th, 2020. They had a press release and held a conference call. So this was about a month or so before the game released. And one of the statements says, during the call, when asked about potential bugs, defendant Kikinksi, which must be someone who works for the company and was speaking on the conference call, stated that, so in terms of bugs, we are all aware of them. Of course, such a big game can't just bug free. That's the kind of obvious, but we believe that the level will be as low as to let gamers not see them. Unfortunately, some bugs extended previous were caused by some general features, and many of them are already fixed. So what gamers will get will be different from what we viewers will get in the final review is it's better than what previewers got. So it was kind of weird broken up there because it was a transcript and everything. But basically they said, well, a game this big can't just be bug-free.
And you would expect bugs.
Yes. But we believe that the level will be so low as to let gamers not really see it. Like, it won't really impact the overall experience that you get from the game.
Yeah. It's kind of like if you buy food from a restaurant, you don't expect the cheese to be perfect on your hamburger or something. You expect it to be not perfect, and that's kind of an okay thing.
But you expect it to be edible and not, like, affect.
Right. You don't expect to just
food.
get a pile of wrappers.
Yeah.
You expect to actually have a burger in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is currently ongoing in California, but I'm not familiar with these lawsuits at all, but apparently it takes a really long time, and which makes sense. They want to make sure that...
I think one of the hard parts for them would be the idea of like how many bugs is too many bugs, because some of the Assassin's Creed games also had, it was The Witcher 3 games had weird like facial bugs where like the faces weren't rendered in or something.
Yeah.
It's like, at what point is it game breaking versus it just being,
yeah, it's
annoying.
It's kind of a subjective thing. Like, how many bugs is too many? But I feel like the plaintiff or the people suing can say, hey, look at all these online reviews of the games.
Yeah.
All of them say, or, the majority of them say, game-breaking bugs.
Way to do it, yeah.
And so many people have filed for refunds, and they can say, this is how many people had problems with it.
That's what I was going to say, was like, so if the refund rate is more than like 10%, then it's clearly not as expected.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's so important that they got the quote from the conference call saying...
Yeah, because refund rate is an easy thing, because retailers keep track of when they have to give money back to customers.
You better believe it, yeah.
That should be like too hard of a thing to define. If you, if you got to hook up with whatever e-tailer you're using.
Yeah.
But yeah, because measuring the buggy amount is
it's pretty subjective.
It's very... But you can count dollars coming back. So it'd be interesting to see if they win. Part of me kind of hopes they do, because this might stop the promise of video games always being great. Like, hey, we got a perfect video game for you.
Yeah.
Because that happened with No Man's Sky, happened with this.
Yep.
I wanted to play the Assassin's Creed Pirate one, whichever one that one was, Black Sails.
Yeah.
I downloaded it, played for like 20 minutes, and then returned it through Steam. Thanks, Steam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a miserable experience. So I've never played any other Assassin's Creed games, because I was like, if one was buggy, they're all buggy. Like, that's not how it works. But
yeah,
you've ruined the experience.
Made a bad first impression, kind of.
Yeah. So, part of me hopes that they win, just to start, like, setting the precedent. Like, if you promise a game, we expect a game.
Yeah.
Not a really sad movie.
I think we talked about the company Nikola and their electric truck having a similar issue with their investors after they made some misleading claims.
Okay.
Remember there was the video of the truck rolling down the hill?
Right, yeah.
Rather than it driving under its own power, yeah. And they made statements like the truck could accidentally drive itself off stage if someone gets in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
It was misleading people to believe that the truck was in a drivable state. So similar concept here, I guess.
And then in the return, when Elon Musk did the unshatterable Windows 8 through the ball at it, and shattered instantly.
Yeah. Quite unfortunate timing there.
That's a little bit different, because I think it did turn out that they fixed the problem with that. Here's an interest. I keep closing the tab because I'm used to being separate. And I close it on Chrome and then reopen it in Brave, and now I'm just like, whatever, you get to see my Chrome.
This article from Droid Life, pull auto rotation on or off.
So we've been doing this live stream for a year and 9 months. This is the first time we disagree.
It's one of the few times for sure. Yeah, so... Well, the reason that I picked this article was because I saw it online and we needed articles. But it was a kind of funny coincidence that earlier this week we were trying to watch a video. So last week we mentioned that we've been building some RC airplanes.
You got a giant whiteboard.
Yeah, that's what the giant whiteboard's all about. We've got like plane models just sitting around. These are ground planes. They don't really go in the air, but
yeah, they're just planes.
They were intended to go in the air. We're still working on that. But anyway, we try and take a video whenever we launch one and try and get it to fly. And so we've been recording on his phone because the camera quality is pretty nice.
Yep, and we do it in the landscape view.
Yep, the landscape view.
You're welcome.
And I've recorded some in portrait for sure.
Yeah, I've noticed a
couple. Yeah.
Portrait. I've cropped them down to landscape.
And sometimes the videos are helpful to see kind of how the plane flew.
Yeah.
And especially when you're flying the plane, it goes by so fast, it goes straight into the ground. So it's nice to have the video to go back to and kind of break down what actually happened. Did I actually have control of the plane? Did it have enough power? Yeah. Was it responding to my inputs?
And it's really nice that you can scrub through it so you can actually see what's happening, which made it really helpful in my opinion.
But I have really struggled with using the photo video viewer app that he has on his phone. And
the default app.
Yeah. You have to hit play about 6 times to get into play, and
yeah.
it's
Do you have a dedicated app, or is it?
I use Google Photos.
Okay, you do.
Yes, which you don't like anyway, but whatever.
I have like 8 Google accounts. I have to just switch just to get into anything.
I have about 8 too, but maybe 6. 4 that I actually use.
Right.
Anyway, and getting it into horizontal was a whole nother issue.
So I purposely leave mine on the locked, so
Okay.
it's always in this form.
Yeah.
I guess we should do it this way. This form. You can actually see it because it's not black. Whole different benefit, right?
My phone is very dark.
It shows up though.
And
But-
I use mine
Yep.
on screen rotation, so if I'm watching a YouTube video, I can just turn it over and like tap sideways and get it to work.
So that's one of the biggest things. I don't really watch videos on my phone up
Okay.
until we were filming this
Yeah.
plain stuff.
Yeah.
But I use my phone in bed a lot, and I lay this way in bed.
Okay.
I don't lay this way in bed.
Yeah. So if you're like looking at Google Chrome, you can scroll easily like that.
And I can still read it,
Yeah.
laying sideways like
Mhm.
that. Makes it nice and easy. Which is why it's always on, because that's the only time I ever turn my phone.
Yes.
And apparently you do not use your phone in bed.
Or I just tap it and then just hold it and it's fine.
So you'll use it in port or landscape mode in bed? Because it'll be like
I've never had
seconds.
any issues with it.
Okay. Because like 2 nights ago when I did turn it off, I
Yeah.
laid in bed and everything shifted to 90 degrees. And I was like, God.
So issues with auto rotation. That's actually where this article comes from. So today there was an article, or not an article, but a thread, or a whatever they call them on Reddit.
Right.
A thread on Reddit with a lot of people talking about the Google Pixel really bad screen rotation. I haven't browsed it, but at the end of this article from Droid Life, there's a poll auto rotation on or off. The 2 options are on with an exclamation point and off because I'm a sane human. So I have not looked at the results yet, but I'm going to go ahead and vote on because I'm a sane human.
And I'm voting off because I'm a sane human.
Go ahead and click and let's see the results. They're pretty close.
Wow, that's way closer than I thought. There's a lot of wrong people in this world.
Yeah, 51% of people are wrong and don't use auto rotate. Just kidding. I can totally see the reason that you would not use auto rotate. But for me, I just haven't had an issue with auto rotation, so I haven't turned it off. I will say there may be occasions where I will turn off auto rotation,
Okay.
just if I'm having an issue with it. But in general, like 99.9% of the time, I just leave auto rotation on. But yeah, that's very interesting that the poll came back 51% use it off and 49% use it on.
That's a lot closer than I thought.
Out of almost 1,000 votes, there were like a 20 vote difference.
Right. Part of me's curious, though, if it's the type of person thing, just because I just watched that video by the guy in the red shirt. For the type of people that vote, because it's only 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And it's 1,000 people that probably read Droid Life.
Yes.
So they're probably a little more techie.
But it's still split.
And it's still split. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm trying to prove that you're wrong. You'll have to give me a minute on that one.
I just like it for the convenience, because I can easily rotate it like that.
Yeah. I like it for the convenience of not having my screen turned on me.
Yeah.
I always know which way's down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess you do too. It's just the wrong way.
I just hold it like that. It's down.
Lord. So you have the wrong things. The 10 most controversial apps and games from 2020. So it's really just like the 10 most notable software programs from 2020.
Okay.
I guess there's a better way to they could have worded it.
Oh, it's not even the... your title said the 10 biggest app news. I guess I can
Controversial
see that.
news.
Yeah, I didn't read the...
Clickbait, man.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Get them clickers.
Well, Zoom isn't in the top 3. I'll go ahead and spoil it for you.
But everyone should know what the top one is. Thing that every person talks about. TikTok. Allegedly, we're going to do giant air quotes on that one. They are spying on people. Name one app that isn't.
Fair enough.
We got another reason to hate Google Photos. They eliminate the unlimited backups. And I've actually had a couple customers that use Google Photos, and they were like, this is popping up a lot. And I was like, oh, we'll switch you over. I got them off Google Photos.
For me, I'm actually considering doing the $5 for 100 gigabytes.
So why use Google Photos and not Google Drive at that point, and just store your photos in the Drive?
I haven't looked at the prices for Google Drive.
It's stupid cheap.
Okay. Well, that may make sense then. But I just like it because it's easy enough to pull up photos that I need for. You can even search for stuff, and their search is pretty good with some like machine learning stuff where you can Google clouds, or not Google clouds, but you can search for clouds in the Photos app, and it'll pull up photos of clouds or whatever it is. So even if you haven't tagged your photos,
there it is. So you get the 15 gigs free for Google Drive. Yay,
Okay.
Google Drive. For $2 a month, you get 100 gigs.
okay. So
And
I do
then-
think that's cheaper than the Photos, because I think Photos was $5 for 100 gigs.
And then you get 200 gigs for $3 a month. So for an extra $1 a month,
Okay.
you can get twice the space.
Yeah.
And then $10 a month is 2 terabytes. I actually know a couple friends, you know one of them for sure, that do the $3 a month for 200 gigs.
Okay.
Right? It's $30 a year for
Mhm.
200 gigs of backup space. Yeah, most people from my general customer base
Mhm.
have about 40 to 60. So you can probably fit under $2 a month at
Yeah.
$2 a month.
And pretty sure that any photos you've already uploaded to Google Photos will stay there. It's like an additional 15 gigabytes to whatever you have already on Photos. So it's not like it'll diminish and your storage space will go down.
Yeah.
So you won't lose photos, which is
That's a good thing.
pretty nice, yeah.
Right? Number 3 here. I almost hit the wrong button. Look at that. Google banned 600 apps. Goodbye, Cheetah Mobile. I never even heard of this.
Me
Right. We
neither.
report the news literally every week. Never heard of this. But good job, Google, I guess, in whatever Cheetah Mobile was. The world's leading mobile tools provider. Clean mastered the something.
They
app.
must be like a development company behind a lot of these applications.
Right.
Just
probably.
reading from this sub.
India bans a bunch of Chinese apps, including TikTok and PUBG. Good job, India. I do remember talking about that one. It was kind of like, doesn't affect us, really. We got the FTC wants to know how people use your data. I also want to know how people use my data. So, I think the FTC can calm down a bit until I can figure out what you're doing with my data.
And they're questioning big services like YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Reddit.
Every social media platform.
So it's not just like some smaller companies, it's the big boys. that are
Yeah.
there.
And it would be really nice to see, even if it's dumbed down, just to be able to see it at some degree. Just see them admit it at least, right? Google retires Google Music in favor of YouTube Music.
Okay, this one's somewhat notable to me. Did you have anything to speak to on that?
If you don't know about this, ask Linus Sebastian how much he likes this.
Okay, so really, I don't care one way or the other, but I do have some songs downloaded onto my phone because I don't have a Spotify subscription, and I don't like using data for playing music.
Okay.
So I have some CDs, that I read with my computer and just have the MP3 files on my phone. And so I was using YouTube Music, or not YouTube Music, but Google Play Music for the longest time just because it was convenient. And so now I switched to YouTube Music because Google Play Music is gone, and that's not a big deal to me. The only issue I had with that was playlists that I'd saved in Google Music don't transition over to YouTube Music.
Okay, so that was one of the complaints
isn't-
Linus had, was that he can't move his playlist over.
Okay.
And apparently with YouTube Music, you have to have a YouTube account, but if you sign your kids up properly, they have to have a kid's YouTube account because they're under 13.
Okay.
And then they can't listen to the majority of the music, like the music that they would normally been allowed to listen to.
Gotcha.
And so that's another
because
reason,
of that age restriction.
Yeah, and that's another reason why he hates YouTube Music is now that his kids' accounts are age locked out of his YouTube Music subscription.
Okay.
And that's just a whole aggravation. He says he's going to switch over to Spotify. Can't blame him. But
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm a guy that does not use any subscription music software. I use Spotify free.
Okay. Risky screen of the day. So that's what I have. I'm not actually logged into YouTube Music. I just use device files only because I have the files actually downloaded onto my phone.
Yeah. I did that for a while. It just got annoying.
Okay.
It was nice to just have Spotify be like, I want to listen to this artist, and then Spotify just takes care of me.
Yeah, I would do that, except for the only time I really listen to music on my phone is if I'm driving, and I don't want to use up data.
That's exactly when I use it, but it's on the motorcycle, and it is super annoying to take off your glove, switch, so like it will finish the album, because, you know, I'll ride for like, 6 hours.
Yeah.
The album lasts an hour.
Okay.
It's just like, all right, pull off to the side of the road, switch a new album, or you just get tired of a song, like.
Yeah.
And Spotify's a lot easier about that.
Yeah, one advantage of Spotify is you do get a wider variety of music, because this is only music that I've put on my phone, myself, and there's probably 30 songs on there. Yeah, so it can get repetitive.
That's the one I read.
It can definitely get repetitive.
When I used to do the walk, the really long walks, I would listen to the same 2 albums, and I knew that it was
how long you were.
Yeah, just because it's like, oh, I was at the same spot on this song yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was walking like 6 miles every day.
You should shuffle them.
Right. It was shuffle, but VLC Shuffle does the same mix. If you say shuffle artist on your VLC for Android, I would say shuffle artist, and it would shuffle her songs in the same order.
That's
every
unfortunate.
Day.
That's unfortunate.
So guess who just listened?
Ouch.
And then I stopped walking, so, we're living the good life now. Number 7, we got the COVID-19 Exposure Notification API. We talked about it. I don't know. I don't have it on my phone. I disabled it. I was getting way too many. No, I'm kidding. That's a terrible joke.
He's kidding, I think.
Yeah. Because it popped up on my phone. It was like, you now have the COVID-19 Bluetooth something. It was something.
Yeah. It was, contact tracker, whatever.
8 months ago at this point. And yeah, I just Googled how to disable and just disabled it. I was like, I'm not going to deal with this. Number 8, not in the top 3, the whole Zoom thing. We all know this one's going to be in there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't a lot higher up, actually.
Right, next to TikTok.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting, like, Zoom, maybe Google Meet or Google Duo, whatever they have, whatever their voice call thing is, or Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, Teams. Discord.
Yeah, Discord.
Survived on that, right?
Yeah, right. Number 9.
The United States government versus TikTok. Apparently having TikTok in there once, is that really different from the...
TikTok was in there like...
TikTok spying on people.
Oh, wait. That's... That's actually not TikTok number 1. Scroll back up. It's ToTalk.
ToTalk.
A popular chat app, not to be confused with TikTok. Wow, isn't that interesting?
Wow, we should probably read the first line, right?
At least the first word.
Well, TikTok should still be in there twice.
Yeah, they were in there for the India bans.
Yeah.
A bunch of apps.
Okay. ToTalk should also be blocked, along with TikTok. That's all I got on that one. I mean, we just talked about it.
I don't really think those things should be blocked. I think that users should just take responsibility for the apps they install. And maybe users don't install it, but...
Yeah, you should just...
The government shouldn't care what app I have on my phone.
They should care a little bit. They should care the tiniest bit.
The tiniest bit.
Yeah,
They shouldn't care if I'm sharing videos of myself dancing to a song with...
They shouldn't care about that.
Yeah, like, it's fine if
Yeah. They should monitor things I shouldn't say online. Number 10, Epic Games and Company versus Google and Apple.
Yeah, this is a big one.
And that turned out pretty poorly for Epic Games in the end. But I think it turned out poorly, right? Because it turned out to be that it was still 30% for all the big guys, which is Epic Games. And then the smaller companies dropped down to like, so it was tiered.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's what ended up happening at the end of it. Yeah, Apple dropped down to 15% for smaller developers. But Epic Games is small in comparison to Apple, but still big. Let's see if we can not share the keys this week.
Nice.
We might jump to 5 so we can do the sponsor boys.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, 5. This is for all the terrible pilots out there. I thought it was hysterical. This is from PCGamesN.com. Probably don't go to that website. I've never heard of it before. But Google.News told me to. Today's free game from Epic is for terrible flight simulator pilots. Today's, which is, Monday's Epic game, freebie is Stranded Deep. And I thought that was hysterical. Because we've been pretty terrible pilots these past 2 weeks.
And if you don't know what Stranded Deep is, like me, it's a survival game that begins with a plane crashing into the Pacific Ocean.
If we could even get the plane into the Pacific
Ocean. Oh, if we could get the plane to the Pacific Ocean, we would be...
amazing pilots.
Yeah. If we can get past the tree.
Right.
If we can get to the tree.
If we can get off of the pavement. Right.
Sigh.
Yeah, so this is why you should sponsor us. So we can keep... Oh boy, there it goes. Well, we are resetting all of our keys.
You mind switching it off? This video is sponsored by JMR Media and
Nephew Tech.
And all the foam companies of the world.
I'm going to go to my other YouTube account so that one can't start streaming all of a sudden. Yeah, I was like, we're not going to share keys. Great, go live. Hey, look, you just went live. No. That was a Facebook buzz.
And after that, we've got 7 smartphone manufacturer trends that should stop. But yeah, let me go ahead and reset my stream key.
All right. Sweet. I reset my business one. And then I'll reset the Nephew Tech.
Oh yeah.
After stream. I wonder what happened if you reset the stream key that you're currently using. Should we find? No, we shouldn't find out.
Nah, we'll be fine.
Oh boy. So this is when we start putting the stream key at the bottom of the 74 pages.
It's a lot of pages.
Right.
7 smartphone trends that should really stop in 2021. Again from Android Authority.
I'm very interested in these.
First up, we've got put an end to slapping 5G on the end of every name.
Oh man, I was going to hope the first one was getting rid of the curved screens. I thought about this all stream.
That's not on the list at all, actually.
Wow.
I think most smartphones have kind of
Thank you,
eliminated
right?
that, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was a thing on the Edge, the Samsung Edge. But really, I mean...
Now we got folding screens.
Yeah, now we got folding screens. What could go wrong? But yeah, there's a lot of companies that when they release their phone, because 5G is the new thing, they're just putting 5G on the end of the phone.
Right.
But now since all the phones support
5G.
5G, all the new high-end phones support 5G,
Yeah.
it's not really a big deal.
So do you think they're going to put 6G or 5GS or 5G Plus or S5G on it when the next step in cellular networks comes out?
Depends on what the name of the network is. But 5G just stands for 5th generation, like
Fifth
5th generation. So it would make sense the next one would be 6G.
Not 5GS?
What's the S for?
Because that's what iPhones did.
Oh, no.
They did that.
Let's
They're like
not.
the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6S. Let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
I think we should do the 6S Plus. One interesting thing, though, is that, like, we had, like, the 3G and the 4G was just faster.
Yeah.
And then we went 5G, which is, like, way shorter. Like, we went from shooting it almost, like, a mile to shooting it hundreds of feet. But it's crazy fast.
Yeah.
6G, you're just going to plug in. There's just going to be plugs
It's
that come
gonna
out
be
of the
Ethernet.
sewer. And you just, like, they'll just run it through the sewage drains down the street. And you just reach up, just plug in. Okay, I'm going to use my super fast data. Done. And we'll just tuck it back in.
Hop on your little phone call, your Zoom call.
Like, how many towers could they put up? Oh.
Number 2, stop using plastic or glastick on $1,000 phones.
Stop buying $1,000 phones.
Yeah, it's not that there's a problem with the
Material itself.
material itself. It's just
It's a
when
cheap
you're
material for a cheap phone.
Yeah, when you're spending $1,000 on a phone, you would probably expect,
Yeah, gold.
a nice finish. Yeah, gold or diamond. Pointless 2-megapixel cameras.
Amen. Why are we still manufacturing that?
So it's saying that some companies are slapping on
The world's
an extra
cheapest.
2G camera just so they can say quad cameras or whatever it is.
Oh, that's super dumb.
This phone has some kind of micro camera or macro camera.
yeah.
So the up close camera, which it's a super low resolution, and I
Used it.
have never used it.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, like mine on the back has 2 cameras, like the normal camera,
Yeah.
sure, and then the super wide angle camera, and I actually switch between them a lot.
Okay.
So most of the time, it's if I'm riding the motorcycle and we stop, it's like I want to take a picture of whatever, but like, selfie guy, right?
Yeah.
And you can't fit an entire bridge without getting like super. So then you get on that wide angle and yes,
Yeah.
super helpful. But yeah, most of the time I use it without it because it stretches the image.
Yeah.
Makes it look funny.
Makes your nose look really big when you take that.
But if you put a 2-megapixel on my phone, I'd probably just take it out.
You're just putting that there to spy on me.
Yeah, I want to put a bigger battery in there.
Yeah.
Slow wired charging from lagging brands.
So this talks about the Xiaomi 10 Ultra, which has either 65 watt or 100 watt charging. So super fast.
Crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
Whereas some phones like the Motorola Edge Plus or the Google Pixel 5 top out at just 18 watts.
So 18 watts isn't really that slow though.
But it's not the...
It's not
what do they call it? The
fast.
ultra fast charging? I don't know.
Yeah. So the one way you can find out how fast your charger's charging, just don't even look at your phone. That doesn't matter. Or your plug, it's the wall where it plugs into it. Look at the back. It should be like, input should be 120 volts if you're American. And then the output will say 5 volt, so it'd be 5V. And then it will say something A. It'll either be 1A, 2A, 3A. And then all you do is you multiply that 5 by whatever that number is. That's how many watts you got. So, I charge my phone wirelessly 100% now. I have one phone charger that plugs in next to my bed.
Yep.
So if I wake up in the morning and my phone did not charge overnight, I can plug it in. And that, stop Google. That's a 15 watt charger. So that's a 5 volt, 3 amp, 15 watt. And by the time I finish getting dressed, I usually get like 20%. If you want to do the math, you can figure out how long it takes me to get dressed. Otherwise, like, I wireless charge everything. And both my wireless chargers are 10 watt. Then due to like loss of wireless charging, it's like 7.
Okay.
It's pretty great.
So the max charging speed is determined by that wall wart, but some phones may not support that super fast charging.
Yeah. So don't go out there and buy a 100 watt crazy fast charger for your phone. Chances are it doesn't support it.
Yeah.
Buy wireless chargers is what I'm getting at.
Poor update commitments. I think we talked last week about Google upping the support for Android versions,
And that's Android, the software itself, not your phone provider supporting it for their again on it.
Yes. And this article mentions that Google has 3 years of system updates for its Pixel phones. Samsung also has 3-year.
Most of them have
commitments
3
to
except
updates.
iPhone, which really surprised me.
Yep.
iPhone seems to be at that 7-year mark.
Mm-hmm.
But try to find an iPhone user that keeps their iPhone for 7 years. Aside from me, there's like nobody out there.
Yeah.
Let's see, I had the iPhone 4S, and I got rid of it when the iPhone 8 came out. So I had it 4-ish years, 4.5 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even I didn't keep an iPhone that long. Everyone gets rid of iPhones. You'll understand if you use one. Major price hack. Ooh, you want to say that one?
Major price hikes. I almost messed it up. Major price hikes for flagships.
That's a hard sentence right there.
So a lot of the newer phones this year actually came out at higher prices.
Yeah, like 12 and 1400. And Linus was actually talking about that a few weeks ago, I believe, that like it wasn't long ago at all that like the flagship was $600-700, and now that's like the low mid range.
Yeah, now they're $1,000.
Yeah. So like your
Or
high
some or more, yeah.
your high end flagship phones, you're looking at a car payment. You're looking at $1,400. Don't want to give them ideas for 2021.
Yeah.
$1,400, and then your mid range now is like $500 to $800,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the flagship 5 years ago. Like these phones are improving. I mean, I got to give them that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're that improving. But it'd be interesting to see if it becomes more competitive. If like OnePlus put out their high-end flagship at $600,
Mm-hmm.
destroyed the market.
Because that would mean that most people would buy that phone,
Right.
and iPhone would have to,
They would
Apple would
have
have to drop their prices to
somehow.
compete. Yeah.
That or they'd have to hack the phone or make them explode or somehow give it really bad press. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if one company will flip it all around for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Quality over quantity. Please. Right? It'd be nice to be able to buy a phone. Not even just quality, I guess, in the hardware sense, but quality in the support sense, so that, if I crack my screen, it's not like, well, I'll just buy a new phone. It'd be like, well, it doesn't cost me $200 to replace my phone screen.
Yeah.
It'd be great if we can go back to the days where it's like, you break a phone and it's like, that was a $50 mistake. Not that is I'm buying a new phone mistake.
Scrolling down to some of the comments, we've got one comment for no more curved displays. Apparently the OnePlus 9 Pro has a curved display.
No.
And then some other things people pointed out, no charger being included.
That's okay. I think so. I think the reasoning they're not including chargers is stupid, but I'm okay with buying a phone and not having a charger included. With the idea that charger is a generic universal charger that you would already have owned anyways. If it's a USB Type-C or the Lightning, for whatever reason Apple's still using it, that's okay. But then if you're like, no, we're going to use, some weird, USB Type 2C plus 4 or something, that's USB.
Yeah.
Then you should probably include one. But if it's one of the two, chances are, I think it's fine.
There's a comment about the reason that some of these high-end phones have plastic backs. It says, making a... Oh, wait, that's the wrong one that I meant to read. But it said something about wireless charging. So...
Okay.
Can't have a metal body on the back of a phone and have it wireless charge, because that metal is going to prevent
the
charge from occurring.
Right.
And one downside of glass is that it can shatter easier than plastic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fair.
Yeah, it's a fair argument. It's trade-offs at that point.
Yeah.
I take wireless charging over any other type of back any day.
Mm-hmm.
hands down. Wireless charging has been the best thing about my phone. That and the mute button.
Are you going to get the Apple Watch? Speaking of the best things in the world.
So I was shocked. How much does Apple Watch look like the original iPod?
Blocky.
Very blocky. So there's an article here from Gizmodo.com. Ding. Leaked prototype photos offer rare glimpse at early Apple Watch. And then there's the photo. It looks a lot like the almost iPod design, I think, in my opinion. But it was interesting just to see the difference between what they actually put out.
Yeah.
Where this has a huge chunk of body on the bottom.
It's hard to really see what the size is without anything to compare it to.
Right.
When I originally saw it, I thought it looked super thick. If it was phone sized, that would be super thick.
Yeah.
That'd be 1.5 inches thick.
But I'm curious because it has the 2 buttons on the side.
Yeah.
If those are your typical watch size button,
Mm-hmm.
the little down the side of the watch,
yeah.
I assume that's what that size is. Which makes it about the proper. I mean, it's still jumbo.
Yeah.
And then I zoomed in on the image so the YouTube people can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's actually a button in that huge chin right here. And so it was they had a button for, I guess, accept or something. So you had 3 buttons, looks like total.
So this is not an upcoming prototype, but it is...
The original.
Yeah. So around 2014-ish.
So it shows how Apple progressed.
Yeah.
Their prototypes look nothing.
No. It does actually remind me of some of the older iPhones that had, was it metal around the rim? And kind of the curved...
I think so.
Edges.
Yeah, this is good to show. So yeah, when I first saw it, I thought of this, the first Apple iPod.
Okay.
So when you go from that to that, you're yeah, that's not far at all. But yeah, I think those first few iPhones did have that super shiny edging around it. First Apple iPhone. We're getting professional here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That really big bezel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then what they ended up actually releasing is quite different. A lot more sleek and a lot more curvy for sure. The watch, that is.
Yeah. So this article we just put in here mostly to see if we need more time. But it turns out we really don't. We're at 48 minutes. Fantastic us. But this article came up on my sponsored posts on Facebook. Thanks, Facebook. From PC Gamer. Repurpose your old SSD into a portable drive with this external USB Type-C enclosure. I was like, okay, I mean, SSDs have been around for 8 years in the consumer market.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could have an old one laying around, just upgrading in size as they become cheaper.
Yeah.
And then it goes to Silverstone's new MS12 breathes a new life into older NVMe SSDs.
Which is not as old as just SSDs.
How many NVMe SSDs do you own? Not even own and not use.
Me, 0.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't have... Oh, I have one downstairs I'm using. I'm looking at a new computer build, and I'll probably be putting one in one of those. These things are not old. The fact that you would have these, laying around, I guess, which is how this makes it sound, repurpose it.
Yeah.
It's I was blown away. The comments on this were hysterical. There's probably a dirty word down there, but on the risking of it.
No, it must have been the comments on Facebook.
Yeah, there were the comments on Facebook. Thanks, Facebook. You've been great this show. Much love.
But we're not going to show those.
No, we're not. Not a chance. I already shared all 4 stream keys. So.
I guess maybe that's our own fault for putting them on the first page.
At the very top of the dock.
We'll change that.
I bet we could just use the black overlay thing on it so that the text and the background color, what do you call it?
True.
Highlight color.
Yeah.
We'll just do that. That might work. I don't know. How do you hide your string keys on a document that you show everyone every week?
Let us know in the comments section, and we'll talk about that next week.
We're gonna talk about we're gonna
talk about some things. It might be different things.
It'd probably be different things. We're gonna talk about things though.
Yes.
We're at least gonna talk about things. But for the people that slur, we're gonna talk about things next week.